Lady Gaga is in Joker 2. And I can't believe I haven't read her Bazi Chinese astrology yet. Let's see if it's an interesting story. Welcome. This is Lydia. I'm here with the Feng Shui and Bazi Chinese Astrology channel. On this channel, I often like to read the charts of famous people because I think it helps us to better understand our own charts and our own lives. So welcome. If this sparks interest for you, please subscribe, hit the like button, and hit the bell so you don't miss a single video. So I have been a Bazi Chinese astrologer on the master level for over 20 years and also a Feng Shui consultant. I'm also a yogi and I host retreats for women in small, intimate groups at my home in Virginia, here in the United States. So again, welcome. It's happy to be with you. I love Lady Gaga. Her whole career is such an expression of art, right? I remember the early days of her radical costumes and showing up at an event dressed as I think it was literally raw meat. She is such a force, such an interesting person. So let's see what her Bazi astrology has to say. So her name is Stephanie Germanata. And I hope I'm saying that right, but she goes by Lady Gaga. I mean, that's how we all know her. She has an interesting chart, which really highlights this, a penalty that many of us will experience in our own astrology that will reveal itself in different areas of our lives in 2025, the year of the snake. She is born March 28th, 1986 at 9:53 in the morning. And we have the Bazi Chinese astrology is based on the 4 pillars of your year, month, day, and hour. So the year is Yang Fire Tiger. That's, shows someone that's got a lot of impulse for action, someone who also is very independent, someone that is fearless, right? This sounds like Lady Gaga. Now, remember that your year pillar represents who you are out in the world, that part of your persona. Then we have the month of Yin Metal Rabbit, and the day, which is your personal self, okay? Not the out in the world self, the self that you sit with alone, right? That is a Yin Metal sheep. Yin Metal, I love Yin Metal as your day element because that element dictates the whole rest of your astrology. That is your signature. So the Yin Metal I love because it's glitter, it's glam, it's glitz. When we think of Yin Metal, we think of jewels, right? We think of jewelry. So they tend to be very sparkly people. And the day of the sheep is the artist. Sheep are often musicians. We've seen this in many of the charts that I have read on this channel. Like Johnny Depp or Bruce Willis, just the ones that spark into my head. So, and the sheep is also a very peaceful person. It's an interesting juxtaposition with her tiger self that is so very yang and out there. And this other part of her that is far more quiet. And you see some of that in how she has navigated her celebrity and the way that I'm sure like the initial living into becoming a celebrity must feel like an ongoing identity crisis of sorts. Like, how do I reconcile this very big persona with this with my true self and the relationship I have with myself and my personal friends, my lover, my family. So it's got to be weird, right? You're on a global stage. How do you begin to assimilate that into your life? I don't know. Then the hour is yin water snake. So let's break this down a little bit. So aside from the initial personalities of the zodiac animals, one of the things I noticed is that she's born in the year of the tiger, hour of the snake. Now that is a semi-penalty, right? And this is the fire penalty that we are going to see play out in steroids in 2025, year of the snake. Now, to understand this very unique penalty, and I'll put a link to a video I did recently about all of the penalties and how they can show up. And really and truly, as much as I love your comments and questions, unless I have read your Bazi Astrology and divined that chart for you, which I'm happy to do. Great time, actually, to get your astrology chart read with me. If you get a written chart done, it's a little more expensive, but that written chart is a full PDF file that gives you so much information that you can refer back to. And what I'm doing right now is offering really early the New Year update for 2025 as part of that reading with a month-by-month analysis for you, specific to you. So it makes it a great value. Plus, you get a 30-minute Q&A with me on Zoom. Happiness there. Love meeting people all around the world. It's one of my fave things. All right, so she has got this penalty, and it's a partial penalty. But the thing to understand about this fire penalty is that when it's in its full form, it is the tiger, which is the beginning of spring, the snake as the beginning of summer, the monkey, the beginning of autumn, and then you must be wondering, what about winter? Aha! Winter brings the beginning of winter, begins in November with the pig. And all of this is according to the Chinese calendar. It is more of a lunar calendar than the Gregorian calendar that many people go by. So the pig is therefore the zodiac animal that completes the seasons of the year. And when the pig is not there and you have these three, it is like a triangle that cannot reconcile itself. It can lead to all kinds of things, okay? And I'm pretty sure this has come up for Lady Gaga, for Stephanie, that there is a higher tendency for anxiety, panic attacks, feeling lost. What am I doing? What the hell am I doing in this life? And then because you don't know what the hell you're doing, or maybe you don't know who the hell you really are, because everybody's been telling you your whole life who you are. And at some point you're like, no, that's just not me. I feel it. It's not me. So you go and join a cult that you didn't realize was a cult. Happened to me. You may wind up feeling like, you know, this is where kids get into gangs. Young people get into gangs. They're looking for a place where they belong. It can also lead to bad business deals because you are seeking that connection with other. Therefore, it can lead to those kinds of issues. It also is likely to you have a greater chance of having car accidents or being in accidents, lawsuits, legal problems, health issues. Any and all of these can happen. Yeah, so I'm going to show you her chart. And it's got all my scribble notes. Okay. The other thing to notice is the flow of this chart is interesting because you notice this little water in the stem of her hour is just lost out here. And in fact, her water is weak. It's very weak. When we're looking at the 5 elements in a Bazi astrology, we're seeking balance, just like in nature. So as a metal person, she is balanced with 23%. That's great. But what nourishes her, earth, is very weak at 9%. Water is what she creates. It's the impetus that gives the metal the urge to take action, is weak at 11%. Wood is what she manifests. That's the taking the song and putting it on the album and getting it out into the world and making money, right? That is strong at 28%. Fire, and wood is probably a little bit stronger because this is her pattern. She's born in the month of the rabbit. Rabbit is springtime. It is yin wood, like flowers. And fire is also balanced at 25%. So the thing that we look for in not only balance, but in flow, for a career to really have longevity and strength and success, we need the ruling element, which is fire, and the parent element, which is earth, the resource, to be strong and to not have any weak missing links. And we have that here. What is missing is earth. That 9% of earth needs to be bolstered up in order for us to see success. So one of the next things I would then look at, because it's not there in her natal chart, where does it show up in her luck cycles, which we go through every 10 years. Another place I might look is her life pillar, which is the hidden pillar that reveals why we're living this life. Personally, I think that is one of the most important things we could learn beyond how we relate to the people in our life. Even more important than anything else is, why are you here? What are the lessons you came to learn? Because knowing that can sometimes explain why our career takes the journey it does, or why our relationships, especially our intimate ones, take the direction they do. I was just with a group of women here wrapping up a retreat this weekend, and we were talking about, why is it all the relationships we have, it is our romantic partners that are where we trip up the most with ourselves, where we're more likely to dance with our shadow than to dance necessarily in our light. And why is that? Why is it so much of what we, internally documented from our parents comes out in full display, no matter how much we don't want to, in our personal relationships? All right, so why is Lady Gaga here? Her life pillar is a yin fire rooster. Aha. What does she have? That rooster really is the signature there that says she is here to be seen, to be heard, to flaunt her colors in all her radiant design. And I have to say, sheep are pretty stylish people too. And that fire is like lighting this thing up. This is a rooster on fine display. So this life, the rooster with her snake forms a semi-metal trio. Beautiful. It's not earth, which is needed, but more metal helps to support her, since she doesn't have it in her chart, that earth support that she needs. So that shows sustainability for her sovereign self. Great. But then, not so fast, because the rooster and her month of the rabbit are in conflict, which means as that metal surges in, the rabbit comes in to challenge it. And the wood is much stronger than the metal. So there is some influence, but it's not as much as she might have gotten. The fire, the yin fire, speaks of someone who came to this life to have a career, to have relationships, to be in, and especially authority figures who challenge you, criticize you, judge you, are obstinate towards you, and demand a lot. And it can be toxic. It can be too much. It can be oppressive, but it can also be a challenge that motivates, right? And that's something interesting, that juxtaposition, right? That when we are faced with somebody who is being condemning of you, judging of you, your reaction is everything, right? You can play victim, or you can be like Lady Gaga and roar like a tiger. Stand your ground, be defensive or self-accepting. Either way, it's an interesting challenge. Then the rooster we know is yin metal, and that yin metal is very much her. And not only her, but all the people she collaborates with, all the people she's partnered with, all the people who are her fan base. And I believe she has a younger sister. I think that's right. That would be her as well, her sisters and collective sisterhood. Maybe she's got a fabulous circle of girlfriends. So that is why she's here. Boil it down, I always like to take a life pillar and bring it into questions. For instance, how does Lady Gaga deal with critics? How has Lady Gaga dealt with assholes? How has Lady Gaga dealt with the biggest challenging parts of her career? How has Lady Gaga embraced her public, her support, her fan base? How has Lady Gaga stayed sovereign to herself? How has she danced in her identity as a bisexual woman who is so incredibly much an artist? And the other thing that is an interesting bit here, that life pillar brings in an aspect to her chart that suggests incredible wealth and fame. Incredible wealth and fame. So, you see how important a life pillar can be. It can give you missing elements. It can almost be a missing puzzle piece or an additional puzzle piece that completes an aspect of the story. Can also be a hidden treasure or a hidden protection. So, next thing we look at is that her romantic partners, are her greatest teacher. When she goes into a relationship, this is a deeply spiritual connection she is looking for. Some people might call it a soulmate. And it's someone she wants to feel inspired by. Like they bring something to the table that feels like I can learn from this person. Because she is really, really smart. She loves to learn. And also tucked into this relationship does come challenge. This is not like, again, it's teachable. Part of the teaching isn't just that they bring an interesting topic to the conversation. They also bring qualities of their own personality that are challenging for her. But she recognizes, I think, intuitively, that is part of how she grows. Also tucked in here is the likelihood that she may date men that are older than her or be attracted to men that are older than her. That they provide not only love, but also some measure of financial support. But there is an air of authority to them. Okay. Looking at her career, this really is somebody that is, it's like she's got spidey sense. She is intuitive, sensual, innovative. This is like, her career is something that she gleans an enormous amount of joy from. Like and the creative expression is so active. But again, that water is the creative expression, feels like a little bit trapped. And maybe she struggles with creative blocks. That would not surprise me at all. And maybe after all the music, when she started to get into acting, maybe that was part of that the music wasn't coming to her as much and she was starting to look at other projects. I don't know. But she does enjoy work that allows her to play with her identity, with her roles, and that divine feminine, which is very strong in her chart. She is a very yin chart, that she allows that divine feminine to bubble out, to be expressed. What else can I say? So then I wanted to look at where she is currently, okay? Where she is currently is an important time, but let's just, for the sake of understanding these Bazi astrology charts, so remember that I said that what she needs for a career to really take off and have that sustainability and strength and success is she needs Earth. So that first luck cycle when her career got launched was a Yin Earth Ox luck cycle, 2003 to 2013. And I believe it was around 2007 that she started her music career. And interesting that ox bangs up against her sheep. It's like a wake-up call. This is all about basically the school of life coming in with tough lessons to learn. This is about breaking open her career, right? That, it's so funny that we use that term, break out into the career. And it also brought out money. And a lot of creative expression and the beginning of that fan base. Who is this woman with this incredible voice? So that's where that all began. And all of that Earth rocked her world. It's literally like getting a hit. Boom. Time to wake up, Stephanie. We've got a whole new world coming at us. And it was so much Earth pouring into her chart. And just amazing. Plus the conflict of the ox in this luck cycle and her day pillar surges up her Earth while also controlling the fire and the water. So she's got all this momentum building here. Pretty amazing. Then we look at where she went to next. Now she is established. We know Lady Gaga. It is 2013, and she moves into a Yang Earth rat. Now, this brought another interesting twist to this story of Lady Gaga, in that the Yang Earth now brings her relationship with her mother and the divine feminine, and also any kind of issues around the law and legal things. If she had to sue somebody, for instance, over a contract, this all comes big. And the Yang Earth, again, is the support she needs in her chart. The rat brings in all that energy for creating, and she made a lot of things in the decade of 2013 to 2023. But the rat and the sheep harms the water. So as the water's coming in, there is some sense that yes, there's creative flow, but it isn't without challenge or obstacles or ebbs and flows, but isn't constant. It also is the rat and the rabbit penalty that hits her month. This is about getting into weird relationships of all kinds. Relationships that start out one way and completely derail you, turn into a hot mess, and you pay for it. You pay for it. Now, 2023, she is now in a yin fire pig. The yin fire pig, the earth has left. Interesting, right? And actually, if you ask me, I think 2023 to 2033 is going to be an interesting kind of bubble for Stephanie. That because in 2033, a Yang fire dog is going to come in and bring the qualities she most needs to almost reboot her career. I wouldn't be surprised if there aren't times in this current decade, this current luck cycle she's in, where she kind of doesn't do a whole lot. Like, what if she gets married to Michael Polanski and winds up having kids, or winds up just having a quieter time of her life for a little while, or doing different things behind the scenes, more of her philanthropy work? We'll see, right? So where she is right now, a yin fire pig, the fire does help her career. It's bringing in some challenges and changes, which again can mean that she's playing different roles. She's saying, I don't want to be necessarily all music right now. Maybe I want to do more acting. Maybe the acting leads to her directing or producing, right? Like all the different things that she could do with her creative gifts. And the pig speaks of a time in her life when her creative process is revolutionary, even more so than before. She wants to change it up. Intuitively, she senses aspects of her life need to change, and she's intuiting and navigating the way to make that happen. This is also a time that speaks of great success, money, moving, travel, buying things, property, all of that. A lot of really cool stuff going on. Now, there is a full wood trio happening with this pig, her rabbit, and sheep. And the wood is that money, and it is coming in big. So it's not like she's not working. It's just in a different capacity, but she will still have a lot of success with it. And remember that the pig is interrupting the penalty in her chart, which is really a cool thing. And it's a battle with her snake of water and fire. And water is already weaker than the fire. So again, this seems to be a pattern I've seen multiple times in her chart where the creative impulse feels stifled, blocked, interrupted, congested, all these things. And so that creative pulse isn't constant. It's not like she's in the studio just pumping out song after song. She's not on the movie set, and as soon as that movie's done, she's off to the next thing. There seems to be more of a rhythm to this that gets interrupted a lot. And it's not even that she is making it happen. That's just how it's happening for her, to her. All right, so we're getting along on the video. So I want to kind of wrap up by saying that next year is the year of a snake, and it's hitting up against her hour of the snake. And this is really kind of looking at, does she wind up having a baby? Does her career get a real shakeup? Something big changes things. Maybe she makes an announcement. I don't know. But something is in transformation. And it's very much feels like it's behind the scenes. And it's about her work. But it's also about the family nest. It's about her new husband, her marriage. It's about possibly, again, building a family. I don't know what she's spoken about having children, but that looks like maybe that could happen. Tucked into the snake, remember, is the mother archetype and the divine feminine. It's about playing new and different roles and seeing yourself in a new role. Now I'm a wife. Now I'm maybe going to be a mom, or maybe I'm going to be doing something new with my career. And the yin wood speaks of, and it's interesting, I don't know how the health and welfare of her parents, but her parents could definitely be a part of this story next year. The father archetype is very big. But also money coming in from different projects. And I would say that she needs to be careful with her health. Yeah. And it's a reminder that we all have these pulses in life, and we really are not meant to be workhorses where we just go, go, go. We do need moments to pause. So all of that to be said, very interesting chart. This woman is so smart, so independent. She's competitive. She's a natural leader. She is a force to be reckoned with. She does like to stay active. She has an adventurous spirit. She chases after her desires, but she also demands balance. She needs to have her life in a certain kind of order in which it's not overwhelming. It's not, yeah. And yeah, I think that wraps it up. So the other thing I wanted to mention that she has is a yin metal person. They're two Nobleman stars. A Nobleman star is the name of the two zodiac animals that are basically your angels in life. And we all have two of them. They are your angels and your protector guides. And for her, she's born in the year of the tiger. And as a yin metal person, that year that she was born was a Nobleman star. she comes in with angels. She comes in with extra protection. Now, we all have angels, guides, guardians, and beings of light around us all the time that we just can't see, but they are very much there. And I can attest to personally in my own life how I have been guided, even to this house, by angels, the angels in my life. So she's got a couple of very interesting aspects to her chart that are, like back pocket protection, and good fortune, for sure. Absolutely. So I think that this current time of her life is going to be very interesting. I think there's going to see a lot of change in her career. And next year is going to be an interesting one. I'm not sure when she's getting married, but that's going to be a big part of her story. And I'm looking forward to seeing what she and Michael have, how their love blooms as a married couple and what happens for her next. So until next time, friends, thank you for watching and be well.